Hi, everyone.
Hi, James.
Welcome
Hi,
to BeerThralls
James.
presents the Beer Protocol. I'm James. I'm drinking a whiskey and Coke.
Nice. This is Jacob. I have beat you to it. Monkey shoulder.
Oh, damn. I drank all mine anyway. I have fresh made whiskey white oak barrel aged mead.
Ooh.
Gentlemen, tink.
Cheers. Clink.
Tink. And
Uh,
James, it's as good as you think it is.
well, it always is. Um, Today we're gonna talk about young man Canadian.
No, it's more old man Canadian.
No,
I mean,
we should
no,
we
he's
should
the
break
younger,
down this joke. Where would you get the idea, you think, for this joke? Where'd the inspiration come from?
because it's old man Logan in like the later stuff, and
See,
he's the younger version. And
I would have started with
oh,
Cowboy Logan.
how about
Yeah.
how about this? How about this?
Or
Uh,
Yippee-ki-yay, let's talk about James.
Today we're going to talk about the experiment gone wrong.
Also known as Logan the Wolverine. James Logan Howlett with 4 physical, 4 energy, and 2 mystic defenses. He has 6 health, 4 threat, size 2, and medium move. His builder, X Slash, is range 3, 5 dice. After this attack is resolved, the character gains power equal to its damage. It's also, after this attack is resolved, places character within range 1 of the target character, and it has Wild Pierce. His builder, Tornado Claw,
Try
which
again.
is a beam 3, 7 dice, 4 power.
I think it's
After all, it's sorry.
It's also a
your guys'
spender.
character. That's what I said. It's a spender.
You said builder.
Oh man, we're
Well,
all
I'm
up
gonna
in the
build
gas.
to
Back
that
off.
spender. Tornado Claw. It is all the things I just said. You distracted me. After all attacks generated by this attack have been resolved, place this character within range 1 of the last character targeted by this attack. It has Wild Pierce and Wild Bleed. He also has What I Do Isn't Very Nice for 3 power. It's an action. This character immediately makes an attack action after this attack resolved if the target character is size 3 or less. This character may throw the target character short. This superpower may be used only once per turn. Adamantium Skeleton. Infinity Power. When determining whether this character can be thrown or pushed by an effect or special rule, when it's colliding with another character or terrain feature, this character counts as size 3. Other Infinity. Get out of my head. The first time this character is damaged by an enemy mystic attack each turn after the attack is resolved, other allied characters in range 3 of this character suffer 1 damage. Characters that suffer damage in this way gain 1 power. Infinity Power on the hunt. When
We
this
have to stop this.
attack, if there are no allied characters within range 3 of it, this character may re-roll up to 2 of its attack dice. Final Infinity Power. He has Healing Factor 2 and Immunity Stun. His reverse side is unchanged, but cooler looking.
All
I mean,
right,
he loses
so
his hat.
the most important part of Cowboy Logan is the hat. So, first of all, I adore that some busted person, some cracked individual at Atomic Mass Games keeps naming all of Wolverine's attacks after his moves from Marvel vs. Capcom.
That's
Whoever you are, I love you.
That's probably all he knows.
X Slash. X
I mean,
Slash.
these are all literally just command moves from Marvel vs. Capcom. It's beautiful.
I know, it makes me so happy.
So I like this Logan quite a bit. Now, there's weirdly for a lot of characters, this model tries to represent something in the game that we haven't seen as much in other characters, and
Violence?
that thing is emotional damage. This character has genuine psychological drawbacks.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Is that why we relate?
Yeah. Logan the Wolverine is the first model to come to your table with PTSD represented in the game mechanics.
Maybe
But does that make him good or bad?
it makes him fucking fantastic, especially when you compare it to his previous version.
So yes, we have to get the big can out of the road. Previous version of Wolverine for a 4 threat character was somewhat
Trash.
underwhelming for a lot of people. He had his main builder was range 2 on a normal base with a medium move, so he sometimes struggled to close the distance and actually get to his opponents. He had a
Sometimes.
charge, which gave him a move and an attack, potentially lots of damage output, but still, once he got there, he didn't quite have the defenses to stay there very long. And the kicker, the thing that people really dropped him, is that when he was flipped to his injured side, he could no longer interact with or hold objective tokens.
Right.
So your 4 threat man felt like an active penalty when he was
Yeah.
flipped. He also had they were clearly designed things they wanted for like a berserker character that didn't quite represent the play experience what people were looking for.
Hey,
So for
Jake,
this one,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll then ask you a question.
so for this Wolverine, they chose to play up instead of like the berserker rage aspects of the character, they decided to emphasize the sort of lone ranger, lone wolf, leave me alone, I'll do things myself aspects.
Almost a Texas Ranger.
Except I don't think I've ever seen Wolverine spin kick a man.
I don't think he's been kicking anywhere in here. Oh, you're never mind. I got your joke. I went the wrong way.
Oh, yep.
So
So,
can you
um,
still do Speedsball special with
fastball
this
special.
fastball special
Uh,
with this Wolverine?
I
I
will
don't
look it
know.
up. It should be because I think it refers to the identity name and not the model.
So if Jake looks that up, I
Uh,
love the movement. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, if Colossus is within range 2 of an allied Wolverine, not James Howlett Logan.
Oh, so Logan the Wolverine is different from the Wolverine.
So keep an
Yes.
eye out for those on Taxis cards. Okay, Matt, go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
I love the movement shenanigans that you can do with this beautiful bastard.
You're
So
wrong.
if original Wolverine had
What
some
do you
movement
mean?
issues, this Wolverine is a hyped up badger on coke in terms of movement.
No, not just a badger, a honey badger on
Mhm.
coke,
Almost like a
much like his
Wolverine.
grandchild.
The fact that both of his attacks have place within 1 of the target character, and really importantly, are ranged 3 now
Mhm.
off of his base is huge.
And even better, when you do what I do isn't very nice, everything resolves after attack is resolved. I get to choose the order.
Yes, so you can throw a man and then teleport to his new position and potentially get even further than range 3. Because Wolverine, I have to assume in fiction,
Hold on. When this attack resolved, this character this character resolved after this attack resolve.
So yes, James, you can
After
tornado
the attack
claw
resolved.
at
Okay, it is both after the attack resolved, which
so you,
means you may decide on the order of which it happens.
yes.
yes, that's what we've said.
So what I'm saying is, if you just got beat pretty bad or somehow just have a ton of power and you want to tornado claw your beam 3, then spend
Um,
3 more, which you're gonna to do what I do isn't very nice. I go X slash something, that's 7 power. He's gonna get it.
Remember, the only thing he has to spend power on are Tornado Claw, and what I do isn't very nice.
Yeah,
So
and
I
he's not
think,
gonna be within range 3 of something, James, which means he's gonna be really rolling his dice.
so previous Wolverine had much more damage output as he got more hurt. This Wolverine's going to be fairly consistent in how much damage he throws out. However, he has mobility. This is dream trade-off. And good lord, can he get almost anywhere on the battlefield and do good to decent damage along the way?
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be explosive like either Sabretooth really are in terms of attack output, but similar to almost one of the Web Warriors, Logan is going to get where you want him to get, and probably where your opponent doesn't want him to get. And he's probably going to do some decent damage along the way.
I don't like get out of my head.
So there's some interesting plays with this. Get out of my head is a penalty to your team triggered only by enemy attacks. It does damage your own characters, but characters that suffer damage gain power.
Huh?
But still, he wants to be away from. He wants to be by himself. He's a flanker. Either
I
that, or
don't
he's just
Or
running straight up the
or
middle
you
and
run him
shooting
up the
things.
center, get him to do your
first.
psychic attack, power up your people, and then you fly them to the other side of the board. Literally, through their models to the other side of the board,
If your opponent
shredding.
if your opponent brought psychic attacks, you could probably set this up. I mean, sure, you take a little damage to your team, but is it worth 1 power? Especially if they're
No.
about to activate.
It is if I take him in X Force. It is if I take him in Weapon X, especially if I take him in Weapon X.
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead. Oh no, it's my turn on the next model. That
As
1 point is healed.
I
as
just thought of that, and yes, that is true, which makes him once again only fits in weapon X and pretty much nothing else. You would
X-Men
not
is
take him
also
in
I
X-Men.
I
I would
would
take
take
him in
him over
X-Men.
other Wolverine every day of the week.
Yeah.
I think he does. Beast has a very good job, which is skirmishing and flanking. I kind of wonder if Logan does it better, just because Beast can't take a hit to save his life.
Nope.
It only shows you once you join the X-Men, you just become shittier.
Oof, harsh.
I think just like Storm, when he joined the X-Men got better.
Um, so basically, James, something you said a moment ago is that he's a flanker, and I think that's absolutely true. If you want to try to pop a get out of my head for some early power for the team, I think pretty quickly you're going to go off on your own, and the sides are a great place to do that. Similar to what we talked about recently with, I want to say, Spider Woman, in terms of you
Yep.
want someone who can hold a flank on their own without a ton of support. Logan can, I think Logan can do that. His defenses are good, other than Mystic. He has a good pool of health to leverage those defenses with and last longer. Plus, his healing factor. Again, if your opponent's only getting a little bit of damage off, go ahead and activate Logan, heal away whatever they took, and continue hammering. Hopefully, with on the hunt to try to jack up the probability of getting Pierce on either of his attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna want to activate him early in the round, get him so far into the back of the enemy lines as possible, just so he's away from her. I like get out of my head is
Yeah, I think you
it's
might be fearing that more than is really.
it's not really that much of fearing. It's just more of you're not going to use him to sit on points. You're not going to use him to. I mean, not like okay, gamma shelters or something that has a really really far away point. Maybe if he's all by himself. But you're
Well,
not going to have him like criminal syndicating up on top of a point where all of his friends are around him, which means he's not going to get the benefit of all the other people's stuff.
So I would also point out, while they are more common, it is only triggered by mystic attacks.
Yes, but even
So if your
then,
opponent
it's
is playing
still.
Criminal Syndicate and didn't bring any mystic attacks, or if your opponent is playing Web Warriors and has no mystic attacks, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All you're losing is on the hunt, which is 2 rerolls, which is good, but it doesn't make him hit. It makes him hit a little softer, but he's still hitting and teleporting and doing all of his other kit.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do like what I do isn't very nice. I like the idea of doing an X slash, building that power up, spending it to do what I do isn't very nice because it's not an attack.
No, it's an
No,
action.
It
it's
is
an act.
it's an action.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You're more likely to do what I do isn't very nice, and then Tornado Claw. But I mean, either one can get you where you need to go,
I
depending
mean
on what you want to do.
doing if you have the 3 power, I would do what I do isn't very nice. Um
Well, Tornado Call is only one more. If you can hit 2 things with Tornado Call, you probably go for Tornado Call over the
I mean,
throw.
it depends on what the board state is.
It
At
depends
Beam
on the person.
3, you can do what I do isn't very nice to get yourself pushed or, thrown and then teleport into a better beam that could just attack the thing you just attacked
I
because you
mean
threw it right.
the other thing is X slash and Tornado Claw do not have May. You have to place this character within one.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I mean, he's going to be terrifying on the battlefield.
Not really. Again, he doesn't hit that
Um,
hard. He just has all of the tools to get where he wants.
And be consistent if you're willing to play into what he wants.
I mean, you're
It's going
gonna.
to do consistent damage, and I think that's actually scarier than being able to spike damage. Honestly,
I do like the fact that he counts as a size 3 when being thrown or pushed.
Yes, that is nice.
that is a carryover from his previous model.
I know. I'm kind of glad that actually stayed there. Um, Healing factor 2, immunity stun. I mean, that's pretty nice.
He's tanky.
He's a 4 threat character. If he's in if he's in Weapon X, I think he's going to be great because they have every single card that deals with hailing factor. They've got like all the ability to basically just be individual annoyances on the battlefield, and I think that's what he's set up to be. Every single one of these is just an annoyance by itself.
Oh, I've got actually a rules question.
Yes.
Are you allowed to? How many? What's the max amount of affiliations you can bring in a standard roster?
As many as you can fit in,
However many you can fit.
which
Cool,
is usually 2, sometimes 3, if you
Yeah.
can
cool.
finagle it.
I was like, you could easily make 3 out of this, and he would fun, and actually all 3 would work very well together. X-Men, X-Force, and Weapon X.
He is not X-Force affiliated, so
He's not, but
he is not.
everything else, but half of what you're bringing
Mm.
anyway to make
He's still
Weapon
canon.
X is there, and is in X-Force.
Yep.
Just got to bring Cable, and then half of those are all X-Men anyway.
Yeah, I think Logan is super exciting in terms
So
of his dynamic.
depending on what you need to bring to the battle, I mean, you can go at it hard.
Let's look at some tactic cards and see if that drives us anywhere.
Yeah, what about the leadership
Yeah,
for him at X-23,
yeah.
which makes him even more awesome.
By the way,
So
if you're on the forums or you're on the page and you're bitching and about the fact that you have to bring a tactic card for your leadership ability, suck
ongoing
it up.
discussion. So that's an interesting debate. That might be worth a micro episode just to talk about that.
No.
I don't know.
No.
In
No?
this particular case, I like it because I can choose whether I want it on Logan or I want it on X-23 depending on my matchup and how I'm
That's
going to play these characters.
that's not quite what the debate is, but we'll get off topic.
No, I
Yeah.
know, but
In this case, are you sure you want to remember?
No.
After deployment, Laura Kinney or James Logan Howlett can play this card. What's nice is this gives us coverage for X-23 and any future models of X-23, as well as both versions of Wolverine can play this card. Would you play with original Wolverine? Oh. The character that played this card gets 3 memory tokens and this leadership ability. It was you for Weapon X. When an allied Weapon X character is targeted by an attack, it can remove 1 memory token. If it does, it adds 2 dice to its defense roll. Then, after the attack was resolved, if no damage was suffered as a result, the allied character can advance short towards the attacking character. Additionally, when an allied character is dazed or KO'd by an enemy effect, this character gains a memory token. This character can have a maximum of 3 memory tokens. This is just really powerful, strict. Like, this is Doctor Strange's defense buff for no power cost and infinite range. At the cost of you could only have 3 uses of it banked. And to get more uses, you have to go daze or KO other people, which, shocking, Weapon X seems to be good at.
Wait. You have to daze or KO somebody, or you have to be dazed or
Oh, so
KO'd?
sorry. Good
ally
correction.
does.
When an allied character is dazed or KO'd. So you are incentivized to spend them.
How
And
often
also
is
for a
that going to
while.
happen with a bunch of healing factors and a bunch of BS that Weapon X has?
More often than you think
Mhm.
because your opponent is going to target that character and then that character is going to get its ass whopped.
Because it's important to
True.
remember, as good as healing factor is, you do have to activate to use it. So the moment you've activated, you're getting no additional healing this round, and your opponent can just lay into you.
Or
Like-
even if you haven't activated yet, in order to counter healing factor, is you just throw so many attacks at it. It doesn't matter. Dead is dead.
Yeah. Turns out if they flip over when they activate, and their first activation after you daze them is they're back at full health, healing factor once again does not matter.
Yeah.
So it's entirely plausible for a model, I think, to not trigger healing factor once in an entire game if your opponent is careful about the order of operations and targeting.
and that's why I like this leadership, because it's the only real defense to that. Is a good way of it's a good way
I
of
mean,
thinking about it.
2 dice is nice. I mean, considering he's a 4/4/2 and like
Yeah,
all of them are just tanky. I would save it. Like
I
I
mean,
would
you're
save it
still
would
if you're on your last one. If you're at 3, I think you spend it as soon
spend
as you
it,
have an
yes.
opportunity.
yeah,
And if you're at 2, spend it. If you're at 1, debate.
yeah.
But I
Hey,
would not use this for unless it's like it's detrimental for somebody being KO'd, not flipped, just KO'd. Use it for like a defense on energy or physical. Um, use it if you're getting hit by Mystic. Just use it. Get up to 4.
I disagree.
No,
Well, so you're thinking of Wolverine's stat line. This is for any
Yes,
Weapon X character.
I know, but still, like even all the Weapon X people are like very high physical, very
no,
high.
I would use this on
It,
Honey Badger, who doesn't.
yeah,
Highness measures and have high physical.
no.
Not like everyone else. She's a 2-point character.
Their defense
Oh,
is
it's
actually
2-point
very.
character.
What I was going to say though is the incentive there of getting the short advance towards the attacker if you completely block damage is good. That I would consider using these tokens on your strong defense.
Yeah,
Like if your
that
opponent throws a 4 dice attack fishing for damage, spend the token, get the advance back onto the point towards them.
mhm.
Even better, I think where healing factor also starts to shine in terms of usefulness is when you have scratched. If you have 4 damage on a 6 health model, healing factor is good, but it's not going to save you.
Hmm.
If you can do this to turn what would have been 3 damage into 1 damage, now healing factor is going to wipe out all their work between this and healing factor.
Still, I don't like
So,
the reliance on dice. I would rather have seen this leadership say you just take off a point of damage. Um,
Mm.
mm,
or just immediately act like spend a memory token to immediately activate a healing factor on a character. Um, I would have liked to see that instead.
I mean,
both
I
of
would
those
have liked that better
probably
too,
would have
but
required more rules in special cases to prevent people breaking them.
But I that leadership is nah.
I disagree. I think this is really fun.
I disagree too. I think it's a good way for me to predictably set up my little force the way I need it set up in order to take advantage of
Well,
each one of their individual abilities.
thank God you're not editing this, and I am. So I'm gonna make you agree with me on that post.
Matt, for the rest of this episode, we just have to periodically say, I think the leadership ability is really good. Apropos of nothing, and he has to edit each of those individually out.
So
Ah,
I have to go. This leadership ability is actually pretty good. Like right now, I
Specifically,
should say it's pretty good, and James
I,
is wrong because it's pretty good.
I think Weapon X's leadership ability is really good.
just keep saying it all together. I'm just gonna block it.
This is a
So
one
what
man
else has he
episode.
got?
The closed captioning is just gonna have. I think leadership is bad, even though you're not saying it.
Uh,
All right, what else you got?
he get aggressive at me. Okay, fine. See how well that goes for
Listen, Hoodie, you read that dang card. Do your job.
you. I got to get some air. The card is got to get some air. It is unaffiliated if you feel like splashing Logan the Wolverine anywhere. When
Yes.
any character ends an advance or is placed within range 2 of an allied Logan the Wolverine, after the effect is resolved, Logan can play this card. No cost. Logan the Wolverine advances his speed away from the character that triggered this effect. He may not contest objective tokens this round. So basically, Wolverine bugs out.
So Honey Badger walks up to him,
Tries to give him a
Goes
hug.
goes
tries to give him
Grandpa.
tries to give him a buff, and he just goes, you're not my kid, and runs off.
Yeah.
Well, it's not his kid.
You do get to choose when to use this. This is not mandatory. A lot of conversation I see about Logan the Wolverine is kind of based around weird ways to abuse this card.
Hmm.
So not being able to contest objective tokens is a penalty, but a free advance of is weirdly specifically of your speed And so if you could find a way to make his speed long, you would get a long advance on it. I think there's very few ways to do that. I'm not going to try to think of them off the top of
When
my
an
head.
allied character,
Any character, enemy or ally,
any character
Yes.
you just have to
advances,
move away or is placed. If a web warrior swings down, Logan can just be like, I'm dealing with this shit.
and
Yep.
it doesn't say on their turn.
No, it could be during any other turn.
So
Yeah, so when that model comes in and spends that power to do a charge on you, you can go, no. Boop.
I wasn't thinking that. I was actually thinking you have characters that have out of activation moves.
Yeah. Did
Um,
Medusa or Captain America or Bucky do some weird placement of shenanigans and move someone around next to Wolverine? No, he doesn't want that. He's out. Bye. Toodles.
that is for for a card play. That is
For a
pretty dang
free
scary
card play,
for a free
James.
Yeah.
card play.
Free
Cost him
card
no
play.
power. Because while you can't contest objective tokens, it does not say you can't interact.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want those turn one
Oh.
hammers?
God dang it! You could literally.
Yeah, so you know that 2-point honey badger just goes slightly behind him, and he gets his free medium movement.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
What
did
other
you see-
card plays it makes an like so? Oh, I think that's now gone. The
It may-
Avengers one that basically says everyone moves short.
I don't think Avengers Assemble is gone.
You can make somebody move. You could actually have him during his activation. He spends it. Everyone moves short. Somebody gets like he interacts with a hammer. Somebody gets within short of him. He activates, uses that card, moves over, and grabs the second hammer.
Yeah.
For free.
Now he's
Yeah.
not an Avenger, so he won't benefit from any movement.
But
you
wait,
did point out another
X-
condition. He can play this during his own turn if another effect would cause someone to move next to him,
mhm. And X-Men have a card like that too. So
which he can take advantage of.
yes.
To me, my X-Men, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, gotta get some air is it's not obviously good like how Rhino's tactic cards were just like this is what you use this for. It's hilarious and it's great. Gotta get some air is definitely gonna be. Are you guys familiar with the term skill gate?
Yep.
Of like this is essentially a card that's gonna be challenging to use. And it's gonna kind of demonstrate your knowledge of the game's mechanics and how powerful movement is.
Yeah.
You can get really good stuff out of it, but people who have like the people who have
Mastered.
memorized the diagrams of how to move between objectives have calculated how to use this card.
Mm-hmm.
Check forums, look around, try some things out, especially now that the scenarios have changed and the crises locations are different and you have different layouts. Experiment. Try to set Logan up if you're on one point or if you're near a point, or just say someone throws you short off a point and now you can try to figure out could I get to a different point. It's really important to remember that you do have to move away from the character that triggers this.
But away from is
It's not directly away.
it's not directly away, so you still have the little
Take your
angle,
measuring
but
stick, bend it to a right angle, put the nib towards whoever triggered it, and you have that range of movement. So some practice on the angles are also going to be relevant, especially if you're trying to trigger it yourself. Pay attention to where your ally is landing.
Mm-hmm.
man, medium move outside of activation is insane.
Or even just to keep Logan safe, as Matt pointed out, if someone charges Logan, or if for whatever reason Juggernaut has just used his ability. I think Juggernaut is range 2 on his punches, and
Bye,
Logan's
Jugs.
just like, I don't want to deal with that right now, and just walks away. In a middle of a scrum, that may not be advantageous or may not be as plausible. On a flank, if there's no one else to take advantage of this, and your opponent doesn't have someone else who can attack Wolverine, you may have dodged an entire round's worth of attacks, and now your opponent has no other targets.
Even in the center of a scrum, it's useful. You can walk through models so long as you can place. Just you can't object the middle anymore. Goodbye.
Now, don't overthink the card. Don't be like, oh, Rhino charged me and is going to do a crap ton of damage against me. I'm going to throw this card out because it could possibly be me going, I just need you off this point. You will win the game if you just stand there and take the damage. I need
Well,
you to get off the point.
obviously, know the game state,
Yeah.
but
I know, but some people, like I'm saying, like, and I get into this thing too, where I'm trying to protect my characters, and I forget about the objectives. I might want to go ahead and just lose the character. I might want to get him dazed. Like, just sit there
well,
and make sure you understand what the game state is before you decide to throw down this card and move.
It's fair, but I
I mean, I kind of like the idea of like, yeah, no, he can't move medium, get back to another point, and then suddenly is holding a point because he can't contest that round.
Mhm.
but I really do like you just charge into me. I've already interacted with this token. Oh no, that token over there! I needed to get Wolverine on
If you
this
got the
turn.
angle.
Yeah. Or, oh, cool. Did I find the scroll on my random flip? Because someone pushed me forward. Let me just use the rest of my turn to walk away from the middle of the table forever.
Is Black Cat
Yep.
about to steal something from me? I'm gonna
Nope,
walk
not
away.
this round.
Honestly, perfectly valid use case for get some errors. Did Black Cat just move within range 1 of me? Get out of here.
I'm holding like something I really, really, really need. No, bye bye.
Hammers can't increase the cost of a tactics card if the tactics card is free.
This is zero times zeros. Ah!
Yay, Bath!
God dang it. Okay.
I love
I-
this character.
To be fair,
Final thought.
I
He's
don't know for sure if that's interaction. I'd have to double check the wording on hammers because I think they just increase the cost by 1, so they might take a card that doesn't cost anything and
I
make
mean,
it.
they
if
do,
you're holding
but
something that
still,
changes your movement to short,
Yes, don't bad times if you're slowed while you use this card.
depends on why you're using it. Honestly, short may be enough.
Okay, final thoughts.
I can't wait to open up that box finally and put them together, and start painting and putting together my X Force, X Program, X Men team. Because I mean, 5 of the 10 models I'm allowed to bring are all 3 of the same faction. So
I think he's good. I think he is definitely better than the original Wolverine. Would I splash him into anything other than Weapon X? Nah.
I think when people think of the X-Men, Wolverine is probably in like the top 3 characters they think of first. And I think this model, well, his actual impact on the game is not huge. I think he's a really neat model. I don't know if people need to go rushing out to buy the expensive special kit to play him in Weapon X. I am at least a lot happier that he has a fun, very usable representation in the game.
Is
Oh,
this the meme
God.
where Wolverine's laying in his costume on the bed, holding the picture, just looking at Logan the Wolverine? He's just like,
I've seen that exact picture.
oh, really?
Card was first spoiled.
Ah, dang it.
Yes. Yes, someone beat you to it.
womp womp womp.
I thought I was being witty. All
If
right.
it makes you
I mean,
feel
you
better,
tried, James.
if it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure one of the toy makers, what's like the big head, Bob, like dolls,
Bobblehead.
Pop,
Funko Pop,
yeah, Funko Pop.
either Funko Pop or someone else are they made a toy that's just that meme of Wolverine in a bed with a picture frame.
Oh, all right.
I kind of want it.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Game off.